The widespread immediacy of social media is revelationary. It's just another form of media, but it's a new form. And to me, it's extremely powerful. And it did what I wanted to do back in my first flight, which is take something magnificent and share it with a lot of people right away.
So the boomer generation has always been at the forefront of technology, going back to the PC days, starting with the late Steve Jobs and Bill Gates with the early days of the PC. And it hasn't changed in the last few decades. There's just this sort of perception that the boomer demographic is behind in technology. But what the research shows is that they prefer to use technology when it's bug-free, when actually it's functional. So we can actually see in our traffic that out of all the mobile users, the overwhelming majority of them are using iPads and Google Nexus 7 tablets.
I love it because it's short, but also, what is it? It's a combination of having your own radio show to which you can invite guests and do themes and share information and news. There isn't an age barrier.
Okay, well that's good.
There's a perceived age barrier.
First wave in the dot-com movement that's happened in the 90s, those guys are all in their mid-40s now. Basically it's the Kurt Cobain generation, and if he was alive, he'd be a Zoomer.
I think increasingly where our parents are living, there will be Skype for one thing, and literally you can wire their home for knowing if they've opened the pill cabinet, taken their pills, have they gotten out of bed or not, is the heat at the level it should, and some people say this is an invasion of privacy, but it's a really fair swap for the anxiety that a lot of us have around our aging parents.
When you look at the titans of the digital space, with the exception of Mark Zuckerberg and a handful of other 20-somethings, 30-somethings, it's pretty much dominated by the boomers. So you have Jeff Bezos at Amazon.com. You have Eric Schmidt, the chair at Google, for instance. You have Larry Ellison at Oracle as well. And of course, Steve Ballmer, who just stepped down at Microsoft. There's a whole bunch, really, nothing against kids, but this industry is developed and maintained by the Zoomer crowd.
They have now proven that video games, a certain kind, such as this kind, improve your mental sharpness after a certain age.
I was really pleased that by the time we got around to my third space flight, technology had caught up and let us do something like Twitter and all the other things we did from space.
The boomer generation has actually never had to adapt to technology because they always drove technology.